Nisha Kashyap. I am the creative director at Socially In. If you haven't gotten a chance yet, the rest of my team, we're all over there. So pay us a little visit, get yourself some free swag. We're also doing free professional headshots over there, but I'll talk about all that stuff later. The reason we're here today is to talk about thumb-stopping content creation. So that's that content that stops the scroll, right? Stops your thumb and you say, hey, wait a second, I gotta click that, I gotta share that with someone else. How do we get there, right? How do we create that content? Okay. Before we talk about that content, let's talk about me. So, like I said, my name is Nisha, and just a little background on who I am. If we take it back, let's go to this slide actually. Alright, here's me. Some nice pictures of me. That video's not playing, but that's me doing my job. So I graduated in 2015 from undergrad. I got my degree in business. Surprisingly, not in biology, even though that's what I started in. My parents were sure I was going to be a doctor. They were wrong. Now I make TikToks every day, so they're proud. And then I got my master's at UAB, which is located in Birmingham, Alabama. I got that degree in management. And then from there, I started working at Socially In about 3.5 years ago. And so I know none of that really leads me to social media, but I ended up starting as a blog writer. I was a copywriter. I loved creating content. I've always been that kid that's on their phone, like bossing people around, like, hey, do this real quick. That's always been me, like since I was 5 years old. But now I'm a creative director, so it kind of worked out. I got exactly the job that I wanted when I was 5 years old. And some of what I get to do, basically, my job consists of two things. So I lead a department of designers, graphic designers, motion designers, illustrators, copywriters. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm directing photo shoots and video shoots for clients. This one was actually for Carnival Cruise Line. All these clients here, you can see them. They were on that slide before. These are some of the fun clients I get to work with and create content for platforms including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So, if you have more questions about me personally, if you'd like to get to know me, I have my Instagram on here later. You can slide in my DMs, or you can meet me over at the booth and we can talk some more. So let's talk about social media. That's why we're here today. Social media is the most relevant advertising channel, right? We all know this at this point. That's why you're all sitting here. I know it. And we've seen charts like this year over year, right? We see that basically it's attracting more eyes than it ever has. But what this chart specifically tells us is how old those eyes are. So really they're between the ages of 13 and 35. That's the biggest audience that's on social right now. However, if your brand is trying to reach an audience younger or older than that, don't worry, because they're still there. They're there too, I promise. They're on every platform, believe it or not. Alright, so before we go a little further into each platform and kind of what's trending, what's working, I'm going to take a quick poll. What is your most used social media app? If it's TikTok, raise your hand. It's not TikTok. Y'all don't want to see my screen time. Mine is, it's too high, it's embarrassing. Okay, if you use Facebook the most, let me see. Okay, a few people. Instagram, there it is. Everybody's here. Okay, so you're all sliding into DMs later. Got it, okay. What about Twitter? Is anybody still tweeting? A few of us, okay. Pinterest? No, so no one here just moved into a new house. Got it, okay. So a few people on TikTok, let's start there. So what's the hype, right? At the end of September last year, TikTok announced that it passed 1 billion monthly active users. That's monthly, 1 billion people. And you know what's even more wild about that is that doesn't include the entire India. It doesn't include India, it's banned there. That's 15% of the population in India, and that's not even included. So 1 billion monthly users, that's a lot of people who have screen time that looks like mine on TikTok. That's not good. But it's amazing because what it tells us is that there are a lot of eyes there. There are a lot of people that potentially we could reach as brands and sell to, right? A lot of our consumers live there. So what is the hype? Why are people on TikTok? There's a few reasons. So TikTok, unlike any other app, values authenticity. It values people being genuine. It values people being relatable and not really overproduced or salesy. You don't have to invest in the nicest camera you've got or an entire production team you can be shooting on your iPhone, you know, and you could get 1 million views. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. We create a lot of content for really big name clients on our iPhones. We do it all the time. TikTok also has claimed its popularity through basically reaching any and every niche. So if you are on TikTok, you'll realize that the algorithm is strong. It knows exactly what you're thinking at all times. It's a little bit scary. You're like, wait, how do you know? How do you know that I want to buy a fish. Why are you showing me all these fish tanks all of a sudden? How do you know that like it just knows. It knows immediately. And so it's really good at finding whatever it is you specifically, each user are interested in, and showing you that. So as a brand, that offers us a lot of opportunity, right? Because we can reach our exact niche. Now on other platforms like Facebook and Instagram, we can find audiences, we can narrow them down based on income, we can narrow them down based on gender, location, but when it comes down to niche and interests and hobbies, really specifically TikTok is good for that, both organically and paid. And then I think the biggest thing with TikTok is that it's all built into the app, right? All of the features of creating a video that you want to see on TikTok are available within the app. You don't have to have another app, make a dope video, and then try to upload it to TikTok. Everything is there. Stickers, sounds, trending sounds that make no sense, but they trend anyway. Voiceover capability. All of that is within the app, and you can create it and post it really, really quickly. All right. Next. So I'm not going to cover all of the platforms today because that's not really why we're here, but I do want to mention LinkedIn. And mostly what I want to say is don't sleep on LinkedIn. Anyone here work at a B2B business? Yeah, lots of it. Okay, so you get it. You know your audience is there. 60% of LinkedIn users are aged between 25 and 34, so it's a little higher than it was on TikTok or some of the other social media platforms as an average, but I read that as decision makers. They're decision makers on this app, the ones with the control, right? So on other apps, on other platforms, you might be able to reach someone who works in the marketing department, but are they the ones with the money? Are they the ones with the power and the influence to make the decision on whatever it is you're trying to show them? They might not be, but on LinkedIn, you can, just like you could on TikTok, reach a specific niche, a specific hobby. On LinkedIn, you can do that based on job, you can do that based on location, you can do that, again, based on income. You can specify, hey, I want them to be marketing directors. Like, that's who I'm trying to reach, right? So you can be that specific on LinkedIn. All right. So let's get into the meat of it. Just kind of wanted to give a little intro on some platforms and what's going on. All right, when we're creating thumb-stopping content, where do we start? I think that we start with the types of content. So we all know that, we've all got things that we could be talking about on social, but how do we break them down? I think that we look at it in 4 ways. So there's evergreen content. This is going to be your content that you could post at absolutely any time. It is relevant year-round, and it always applies to your brand. Then we've got timely content. This is going to be your time-sensitive content. So, right, this is going to be things like if you've got a Black Friday sale going on, or it's Mother's Day, or what have you. It's only going to be relevant for a certain amount of time. If your team didn't create and post it, someone's getting fired because it has to be done by a certain date, right? Okay, then we've got what I call Trend Watch. It's not Baywatch, it's Trend Watch. Trend Watch is looking out for things that are going on in social media, in the world. Like, we all saw Will Smith, we all saw it happen. But many brands took that as an opportunity. They created memes that were relevant to their products. They jumped on the Will Smith TikTok remix sounds and started making videos that were relevant to their brand, but they were also relevant to what's going on in the world. And people will relate to that. People catch on to it. They think it's funny. They share it with their friends. Those types of things are great quality content to jump on. So it is important to have someone on your team looking out for, hey, what could go viral right now? Like, what is trending, what's popular. And then, just taking a look at my notes. Okay, lastly, we've got UGC. UGC is user-generated content. So whether you've got a service, whether you've got a product, if you've got users that are active on social media and they're posting about you, they're tagging you, maybe they're leaving you a review, these are basically free content, right? That's posts that you can manipulate further. Maybe you can, hey, shoot them a DM and say, hey, we love this, we would love to post this on our story. And that adds credibility to your brand because it's saying, hey, obviously we talk about ourselves all the time and we know we're great, but this person thinks we are too. They even posted about it. So, that type of content really can bring more eyes to your content. It can also basically spread your network because not only now are you posting about it, but their network is seeing you, you tag them, right? You get it. That's how social works. You're expanding who is looking at your content. And basically, as you're building out your social media calendar, that's what's over there, you just want to mix up this content, right? You want to make sure you're not only posting evergreen content, which is that's our low-hanging fruit, right? This is going to be FAQs or, what is in our product? What's the benefit of this service? Like, we talk about that stuff all the time, and we love it. We know it by heart. But it's all this other stuff that's going to catch the eyes, right? And then bring them to the meat of it. Okay. Boop. All right. And then I know this is it's like, all right, Nisha, thanks, keep it interesting. Like, I was planning on it. But why I say this is because I have way too many clients come to me and they say, but we sell mattresses though. And I'm like, and? Like, and so what? They said, but we just sell fishing rods, and like I can only post a picture of a fishing rod so many times. I don't know what else to do. And I say, you just gotta keep it interesting, which is like, again, I know it's like, all right, thanks, but again, like we were talking about earlier about mixing up types of content. Same thing here. Mix up your types of content when it comes to format, right? This piece, I don't know what's happening, y'all, but this piece used to move. So adding movement to a piece, creating basically a GIF out of a photo, right? If you get, or a GIF out of a video clip, that gives you something a little bit extra to work with. Adding maybe text to a photo, that means maybe something and maybe nothing. Good things come to those who bait. Does that have anything to do? Am I trying to sell you this fishing rod? No. But it's cute. It's relevant to those who probably fish. It's a nice little quote and it looks great on the feed, right? So every once in a while, like don't worry that every post has to be selling something or every post has to lead back to my website. Like those things are important, but they do have to be mixed in with stuff that's interesting, right? To keep people interested and keep them coming back. Okay. So the next step about social media, the greatest part of social media, one of the greatest, is that it's not a billboard, it's not a one-way street. You can create conversation. You can be talking to the people. You'll post something and you'll immediately get feedback, positive or negative. It'll happen though. And so, because you're able to do this, take advantage of it, right? Keep it engaging. Don't just make it a one-way platform. There's 3 ways to do this. Storytelling, it's cliche, we've all heard it, but basically what it is that we are humans, and the reason we connect with other humans is because we have stories to tell and we're interested in hearing those stories. So when you see your friend who posted their morning croissant on their story and you're like, what, like, but we do it too, I'll do it too. And the reason is because I'm telling someone a story. I'm saying, hey, I went to this really cute cafe in LA today and I had this really cute avocado toast, and I'm telling a story, right? Even if it's just a photo on my story for 24 hours, I'm telling a story, and that's what people love to hear. So if you have the opportunity to make something into a story, try to do so. The second part is that you can make all of your content participatory, whether it's a graphic, a video, whether it's a story. So how are we going to make it participatory? There's a few things you can do. So the first thing you can do is put it straight into your content. Let's say we're making a video and at the end of the video there's a call out that says, hey, comment if you like this, or hey, comment if you agree. That's a call out. We're asking them to do something and they are now participating with our content. It's called a CTA, call to action. Another thing we can do is we can create games, right? So for example, let's say we had a graphic and the graphic was watch trivia. We have a watch client and we said, who's the first person that ever wore this type of Rolex? A, B, or C. Comment if you know the answer. And then maybe it's a slider and the next slider has the answer, or maybe we get one of our community managers to respond later and say, you got it right, you're the first person, right? Things like that. Giveaways, another opportunity for people to participate with your content. There's just tons of ways, but as you're creating content, it's important to think, how can this content be participatory, be engaging, create conversation, keep people participating in the content and not just looking at it, scrolling and moving on, right? And then the third thing is that format does matter. So a lot of times I'll see clients say, well, I created this graphic and now I'm just going to post it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. That's not going to work, right? If it's let's say it's a horizontal graphic and you're trying to post it on Instagram and it gets cut off, like that's not going to work. Same thing with TikTok. I'll see a lot of users say, well, I created this TikTok, now I'm just going to post it on my Reels. I know you've all seen TikToks on your Reels, right? And like, sure, it works, but it's not built within the app itself. So you're missing a little bit of the relevancy that you have if it were built in the app itself. So just try to make sure that A, things aren't getting cut off, that's the absolute worst, but B, that it matches the platform that you're posting it on, right? So it looks like you intentionally created it for the platform that it's living on. Okay. I just wanted to share some pieces of content that are kind of examples of what I'm talking about. This is a piece we made for Good Life. They sell dog collars that help your dog stay quiet. And basically, we just took FAQs off of their website, right? And we took 3 of them and we made a story out of it. So this was a 4-slide story that people could click through, and it was giving them information. And then the last one had like a tap here. It took them to the website to answer more FAQs, that kind of thing. So again, it had a call to action. It was a little bit participatory, and it shared some information and it told a story. All right. Then we've got pieces like this. So apps like Instagram, even Facebook Stories now, they have features built into the app where you could make it participatory. Like, the work is done for you. So for example, we created this piece for Carnival, super simple, right? Super simple. We said, what's the best part about cruising? And the number of people that slide this just because they can, just because it's fun, right? Now they've answered. And we've gotten much more information on who's clicking on our content, how many times, what their answer was. This is actually giving us a lot of information. Let's say we get like 80% burgers. We're like, okay, the food we're selling on this ship matters, right? It matters. Let's say we get entertainment. Now we know and we can tell our team, hey, the investment we're making in entertainment matters. This is what people say they're here for. And so, this is market research all through this one Instagram story. Okay. This is a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. Trivia, right? Asking questions. Again, you're getting answers. You're seeing how many people are actually participating with your content. You can, through insights on Instagram or Facebook, even get demographic information. So you can see exactly who's looking, who's actually participating. Let's say you take this back and you say, it looks like 80% of our users are women. But then you find that the majority of people that answer the trivia are men. What does that tell you? That tells you might have a lot of female followers, but the people that are actually interested in engaging with your content happen to be men. So now maybe you're shifting the way that your strategy works, and you're saying, actually, though we thought we had more of a female audience, we should be tailoring our content towards men, because they are the ones who are actually participating with the content. They're the ones, engaging. And then lastly, that was a poll, basically. Again, it gives you a lot more information than you think, because this says, what is the correct usage of bitters in a Negroni? And what we're gaining here is we're telling them that, hey, we're the experts in cocktails, for one, so we know this answer. And 2, again, it's participatory, so it's giving us a little more information than we had before. Okay. I know you've probably heard this everywhere today, but don't forget the data, right? That's why we're here. And earlier I was saying the best part of social is that it's a two-way street, but I lied. The best part of social media is that you can capture data. When have we ever been able to do that? We put out a newspaper ad, we put out a billboard. We don't know how many people stopped and wrote down our phone number. We don't know how many people saw it but don't remember what it said, those types of things, right? But with social media, we can capture all of that information, the demographics I was talking about earlier, the number of people engaged, what hours and times they're engaged, aka when we should be posting. All of that stuff is, we're able to attain it, and that's amazing. And so, there are a few things we should be doing while we're scheduling, while we're posting, and then there's a few things we should be doing after. The first thing is focus on objective. So when you're creating content, what is your objective? If your objective is engagement, then it's important to have those engaging, participatory pieces that I was talking about. If you're trying to get shares, you're trying to get likes, you're trying to get comments, you gotta ask for them, right? Use a CTA that says, share an emoji that explains how you're feeling today, or share an emoji that explains what you did this weekend. Such a simple ask, but people are willing to participate when it's fun, right? So if that's your objective, then create content that matches that. However, if your objective is something else, let's say your objective is getting traffic to your website, that engaging content, if you do that all day because it's cute and it's fun, isn't getting you those website clicks. So you got to change up your strategy, right? You got to know the objective for this week's content is to make sure that we're getting people to our website. So let's make sure we always put link in bio. Let's put a tap here in our Instagram story so they can immediately go to the website, right? Those types of things. Just think about them as we're creating the content. The second thing, hashtags. Hashtags do matter. I won't get into this too much, but if you want to talk about it more, we can later. Like I said, I'll be over at the booth. The biggest advice I could give right now, but more like high level, is just to think, I say there are 3 hashtags that you can be using on any piece of content. This is going to be general hashtags, so Los Angeles, since I'm posting content here. I'm not from LA, by the way, if you didn't notice. I'm from Atlanta. So being here is very exciting and fun. So you can use general hashtags. You can use trending hashtags. So I go back to things like Will Smith or whatever, things that are trending in the world right now. You can hashtag those, and people have eyes on them right now. And then localized hashtags. So this is going to be stuff like Culver City, or if you have, if you live in Miami, they're all using 305. They love that 305. So like hashtag Miami 305. Hashtags that are being used in a specific area if that's the location that you're trying to reach, if those are the eyes that you want on your content. Okay, I talked a little bit about call to action. I talked a lot about call to action, but that's very important. Every piece of content you have going out should have a call to action. You have the ability and the opportunity to lead people exactly where you want them to with everything you put out, whether it's an Instagram story that only lives for 24 hours, or whether it's a video that you paid $2,000 to create, right? All of that has the opportunity to get people to do whatever it is you want to do. So make sure you're including a call to action in everything you create. And then lastly, performance. So, like I said, all of this is going to be what you're doing as you're creating, but then once you're done, take a look at how things are performing, right? So, like I said earlier, if you see that something, let's say you see that anytime you post a video, you're not getting engagement. People just aren't, they're kind of passing it by, they're not stopping to look, they're not sharing it. You're getting a lot more comments and likes on photos. Stop posting videos. Don't waste your time. Don't spend your resources on that just because your competitor's doing it. If it's not working for you, you gotta stop and look and say, hey, what is working for us? Let's do more of that and less of what's not working. I see it way too often where people stick with a strategy because they think it's working. They stick with a strategy because their competitor's doing it and they say, well, they're doing it, so we have to do it. And none of that's true, right? It's all unique, and you've got to see what works for you. Here are just a few things I wanted to point out. So these are both for Carnival Cruise Line. So we create basically reports every month where we're looking at things like one piece specifically, and we're looking at reactions, comments, video views, engagement rate. This is the biggest number, right? We're looking at, we might have 1 million followers, but if only 20 of them are engaging, that's not really a strong number, even though 20 might seem like a big number for that one piece. So you gotta look at the engagement rate. How many people of our audience are actually engaging with the content? And then even things like this. So this was December 2021. So if you remember, unfortunately, there was a spike of COVID on cruise ships, and it wasn't ideal working with Carnival Cruise Line and trying to get past that, right? Okay, well, what did we see? We saw a spike in comments. Now, if we just looked at that and we were like, great, spike in comments, we're doing great. We're doing great, people are engaging more than they ever have. False, this is not good, right? So this is what we call sentiment. So what we were measuring there was sentiment, and the sentiment was low, and we had to immediately change our strategy, right? If we were out here being like, things are fun and great on our ships, like, no. So we had to take a look at what's happening, what do we need to change, how can we adjust. All of that's really, really important. And we're lucky because we have the data to do that. Okay. And then this is my sales pitch, but really it's important. Invest when it's time, because it does take a team. There are so many pieces to what we're doing, right, on social media. It's not fun and light anymore, though it is fun and light sometimes. There are a lot of pieces involved, and I just want to take you through this little chart I created for a second. So first we've got creative conceptualization. That was what I was talking about as far as like, what are we going to be posting, what's the messaging, when are we going to post it, all of those types of things. From there you've got execution and delivery. So you want people on your team that are good at creating that type of content that you're trying to create. So if you're trying to create TikToks that seem really organic and they're with the trends, hire someone who knows TikTok. Don't give it to your manager who hasn't downloaded the app yet and say, hey, you're responsible for creating some TikToks this week, just do what you can, right? Like, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So make sure that you're giving the job to the right person and your delivery is on time, because if it's timely, or if you're not even posting frequently, right? Like, let's say you post, we do it when we can. We have one person who's in charge of it, and she also does inventory, so just whenever she can create some pictures, we post. Like, that's not gonna work, but I see it all the time. I see it all the time. These are not made up examples. So yes, execution and delivery, both important. Creating the content and actually posting it very consistently, regularly is important. And then community management. So this is our third step. Community management is exactly that. It's managing the community of people that are looking at your content. So responding to comments. If you get a negative comment saying, hey, let's take this into the DMs and we'll figure it out, right? right? It's managing when people have questions on your, let's say, they say, oh, that's so cool. Well, are you open on Saturday? If no one responds to them, they're not even coming to your store. You lost it. You lost that sale, right? So you have to be responding. You have to be managing that community and creating relationships with these people that are looking at your content. And then analysis and strategy, so that's the data that I'm talking about, right? You have to have people that understand numbers, so not me, hire someone who knows what they're doing, to take a look at the numbers to adjust your strategy, because that is important, and that's the only way to succeed, is to say, hey, this is what we're doing, here's what's good, here's what's bad, here's what we're changing. And basically, this is what a team could look like. This is what a team looks like at our agency. You'll have an account manager who's dedicated directly to your account, checking in with you weekly, saying, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, this is a trend that just happened. Do you want to jump on it, looking out for opportunities, that kind of thing. You'll have copywriters that understand your tone of voice and they're writing in your tone of voice. Strategists who are taking a look at everything very frequently, week to week, month to month, and saying, hey, it looks like this isn't working, or hey, it looks like this is working really well, let's put some more money behind it, right? Skilled and experienced designers to create things that are visually entertaining and engaging. Community managers who will respond on your behalf and make sure that people are engaged with, and then analysts to all of the stuff I've just been talking about at the end. Okay. Here's the fun stuff. So, that's the end of what I gotta say about content for now. Again, if you'd like to meet up with me later, I'll be here again tomorrow. If you want to listen to this all over again, I'll do it again tomorrow, just for you, 3 o'clock. I'll be at that booth over there. We've got a few fun things at the booth. So tomorrow, starting at 1, we've got free champagne. So I hope all of you come toast to this wonderful expo with me. We've got a free social media audit that we're offering. So if your brand says, hey, we would love for some experts to take a look at our social platforms, to see our accounts, to see how we're doing, maybe give us some recommendations, we will do that. We are offering that free to all expo attendees. It's usually about $2,000 service that we offer. So take a stop over at the booth and get you that free audit. We're also offering Sales Navigator for life. So Sales Navigator is on LinkedIn, and I believe it's about $80 a month. So you can get it free today if you stop over there. We've got swag, obviously. We got cups, we got bags, we got all kinds of stuff. And we've got free professional headshots happening over there. So we've got our world-renowned photographer, Justin, and he will take you a nice LinkedIn updated headshot. And you can meet the rest of my team, because if you think I'm awesome, I am, but also meet the rest of them. Here's just my information if you want to. Like I said, slide in the DMs, shoot me an email. If you have any more questions or if you just want to talk, there it is. And thank you so much for being here today. This was lovely. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, just come on over to the booth. I'll be there.
Okay, I'll run over. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome.
How do I do the social media audit?
Yep. I was actually, so if you come right over here, actually.
Well, I can, yeah, I was about to say, we could just do it right here.
Okay.
Just open it up. I got you. Make it simple for you. And then you're just going to select.
Androids are in the middle of the phone.
Oh, is it?
What is this? What are you doing?
NFC.
Oh, you got your camera. I hate it when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just awkward when it doesn't
So
work.
basically that card, you can tap it on someone's phone
Yeah.
and it'll
And
pop
it's
up
just
the
supposed to just
information.
pop up.
Oh, okay.
But right now, you just
Yeah,
gotta,
my phone's.
You just got to scan it.
With this?
Just like, let me see. This is what makes it awkward. And then, ma'am, what you're going to do is, there's going to be a link. Is she done with questions, Keith?
Yeah.